everybody. Welcome to Kettle Kitchen. Today we're doing the third episode in the series of canning safety. And I think it's important for each of us to know, where do our recipes come from, how do we know they're safe, and how do we obtain recipes that are safe. So we'll go ahead and get started. First and foremost, you should always use a tested recipe without question. So you should always use tested recipes, like Jill Winger states from the Prairie Homestead. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Using approved and tested canning techniques matter, because botulism ain't no joke, friends. And that's true. It's very true. It's you can't smell it, you can't see it, and it's in there, it's in there. Melissa K. Norris from melissaknorris.com. Why are you taking a shortcut at the end? My whole other thing is that we've got the benefit of tested recipes, tested procedures. We've got the benefit of all that. Why wouldn't we do it the way we're supposed to? And then in the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture and Cooperative Extension Service, you must use only up-to-date recipes published 1990 or after that have been scientifically tested to be sure that all harmful microorganisms will be destroyed during the canning process. Now, one thing I will say to that is that the current standard is not to use any publication older than 10 years. So if you got books or magazines or other things that have at one time been tested recipes and they're older than 10 years, you need to reevaluate them, have them rechecked, or do your own research to figure out whether they're still used or not and meet the safety guidelines. Next, what makes it a safe recipe, and that falls into different categories. When we look at how a recipe is handled, most of the time it's done in a reference of science. Elizabeth Andrus from the National Center for Home Food Preservation says it is best to make sure the person canning foods at home uses recipes and procedures from sources that can be trusted to know the science behind canning. These are sources that also know what kind of testing should have taken place to develop a canning recommendation in the case of some recipes. Jill Winger again, the Prairie Homestead. The reason the canning recommendations change over the years is because new discoveries about bacteria, processing times, and acid levels come to light as more research is done. That's just the way it goes. We learn more things. University of Minnesota's extension offices safe home canning recipes are developed by researchers who repeat the entire recipe preparation and canning process many times to get accurate data. Microorganisms are put into the jars to make sure that the processing time is sufficient to destroy them. It's a long, drawn-out process. Clemson University, Clemson Cooperative Extension. Recipes in the following resources have been carefully tested in university laboratories. So the point is that these are all done in a scientific approach. They're done with the introduction of different things, and they're in a very monitored process. When we talk about using safe recipes or tested recipes, more to the point, it's always stated that it's a scare tactic. Science is not a scare tactic. It's proven. It shows that it's not adequate for what you need to kill the microorganisms that will make you sick. And really, the plain and simple in the separation of the sides of the canning community are either you agree with the science or you don't. There's no two ways about it. Then generally what we run into is a process of, do you want to keep your family safe or do you want to take that chance? And really for me, I'm not willing to take that chance. It's not a matter of saying we think you're bad or we think we're good. It's, this is what the science says and this is what we're following. So it's really what it comes down to. Next is, where can I go for safe recipes? And there's websites, because a lot of us use electronic research methods. Trusted safe canning recipe websites would include, first of all, in almost any category ever looked up, it would be the National Center of Home Food Preservation. There's a link you'll see on the screen. Please take a look at it. A lot of good resources, a lot of good information, hot topics, whys and why nots of different things. Another one that we tend to find ourselves using is fresh preserving. That's owned by Ball Kerr, but there are other websites of other brands out there that are also tested recipes. Bernardin's, and Bernardin's you'll see is a Canadian company. It's owned by the company that owns Ball and Kerr, but it's for Canada. You can use those recipes as long as it follows the United States safety standards and guidelines. So just double check that. Make sure you're doing your research. You'll figure that out. If you have any questions, just ask. University of Georgia is one that co-ops with the National Center of Home Food Preservation in their website, and they have a lot of good information, a lot of tested recipes, and they have, I think they also have a help center that you can go to. There's state extension offices. I think, if I'm correct, there's 23 states that have extension offices, and you can get a hold of them to find out whether or not a recipe has been tested or has not been tested, or they can give you information. Then you come to family recipes. And with that, you can also consider having it reviewed by a third-party processing authority within the South Dakota State University Extension, for this example. This individual can have your product evaluated for pH and also review your recipe and processing to ensure that the product is being safely made. The cost is $45 and would not only allow you to ensure that you're making the product safely, but it would also allow you to sell the product at a farmer's market. If you have any questions on this process, please reach out to Curtis Braun. Again, that's South Dakota State University. Not every state works this way, and I'm not sure if I from Washington could call somebody from South Dakota and see if that they would do it, but it's something to look into, and maybe that person, Curtis Braun, could lead you in the right direction if you have questions regarding how do I get my home family recipe tested. Again, it may cost you, but at least it'd be worth the try to see if you'd be able to have that tested, or information leading to the why and why not you would be able to can it. Again, it goes back to the, a lot of the standards and a lot of practices have changed over the years. And as time goes on, we figure out things are different. And so we do need to have those recipes tested. Really, in the end of it, it comes down to you making a choice. You need to know that you have a recipe that is tested, and in that testing, it was performed scientifically and a laboratory conducted it. It has to be a approved recipe that specifically has checked for pH, acidity levels, processing times, jar sizes, density, etc. And you need to do your own research. You can do that by cross-referencing many forms of media, like I said, the National Center for Home Food Preservation, a Ball book, extension offices, things like that. And remember to follow only approved, recommended, safe, tested recipes and procedures or guidelines. All of this ties together. It's how we get this whole entire process taken care of. So I thank you, and I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, leave them. I would appreciate to hear them. And look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye. We thank you for stopping by Kettle Kitchen. If you like what you see, remember to hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to share. If you like the content, go ahead and subscribe and check the all reminder bell so you can be notified when a new video comes out. We would love to have you leave a comment, so please do so, and we'll return to your comment as soon as we can. Here's a video I think you might like, and thank you again, and have a great day.